All right, those country tunes make you feel like it's morning, doesn't it? Well, I'll call for handing it over to us for the masterclass. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the masterclass with me, Daryl Kwawu, in for Yao Banafo. We've been on it. We've been discussing agribusiness for the past few weeks. We've done snails. We've done, what did we do? Fish. And then we started last week with a series on poultry farming. Joining me in studio is Emmanuel Odame Nyamekye, who is taking us through this class. He's CEO and founder of Perfect Amango Rest Power Farms. He's joined us in studio to continue the discussion. We started very well last week. Some of the things he talked about was how much you need to start a poultry setup. I think you mentioned 71,000 Ghana cedis with 500 layer beds. And you also talked about investors could expect an average net profit of around 15,000 cedis from the setup. We also talked about a lighting for the what do you call it, the cages for the beds. And I think that was also insightful because I know we put some of the videos on social media, and I saw a couple of comments, people talking about, wow, I didn't know that this was important to sustain the beds and prevent them from being stressed out. Yeah. Welcome to the studio, Emmanuel Nyamekye, CEO of Perfect Amango Farms. I like the name of your business, Perfect Amango. How's your day been though?
Be very stressful.
Very, very stressful entire year. Yeah. But we are going to have a very relaxing conversation. Hopefully, by the end, you'd be less stressed. And so, we are going to continue our conversation on poultry farming. Just so you're out there, you do not know what to do with money that you have. This is a business that you can venture into. And listening to Emmanuel last week, it appears to be a very, very, very lucrative business. If you look at what you can also do with it, it's not just about the beds, it's not just about the meat, it's about the eggs and so many things you can do as well. So masterclass brought to you by Goil, Good Energy Goil, Yanara, and we want to kickstart the conversation because time is already fast spent. And so, Emmanuel, just a quick recap of what we discussed yesterday, just for those who are listening
last
for the first. Yeah, last week. Just for those who are listening for the very first time today, what do they need to know about poultry farming?
I think last week we spoke about how to start, basically getting your land, knowing where to get your quality check, quality water, and all that. We spoke about brooding, how to brood your bed, because brooding is very critical. So you have to know how to brood a bed. When you don't brood a bed very well, it wouldn't grow well to lay good for you. So you can't think of growing the bed badly and expect a better production.
Mm-hmm.
So the brooding aspect is a very critical time. And we spoke about the lighting program. You should know the kind of light to use for brooding. Some people use the white, bright light, and I think that is stressful sometimes for the birds. You should have a very warm amber light that to provide a cozy environment for the birds. And when they're laying also, you should know the kind of light you put in a coop to make them have a cozy environment. So
yeah, and we talked about the fact that they are broilers and they are layers.
Yeah.
And so depending on your interest, these are
right.
I mean,
depending on how your market will be like, you should know what you go for, whether for broilers, whether for layers.
And the breeds as well. We have the local breeds.
We have the local breeds, we have the foreign breeds, and the broilers.
Most people are doing the foreign breeds.
Yes, a lot. Some people don't go in for the local at all. So most of us are in the foreign breed.
Yeah, and you also touched about the market for poultry farming. Recap.
Yes, the egg market is very, very huge. As at now, demand for eggs are so high, and most farmers can't even supply their customers. And for the broiler section, I actually don't know about that because Ghana we import chicken. So for the broiler aspect, I don't know what is going on there. But for the layer, for the eggs, demand is so high.
Yeah, and it's one of the cheapest proteins right now, cheapest, and so you can understand why eggs are in high demand. And so we are going to start with eggs today. Can you tell us more about what an egg is? I know people know about eggs, but in detail what an egg is, how it forms, and also how many eggs does a chicken lay in a day, for instance?
Well, egg is a source of protein that we have from chickens. So Basically, it takes about 26 hours for a bird to lay an egg. Some people think it's 18, some people think it's 24, but it's 26. So it has the yolk, the white formulation, the shell, and mostly the shell takes a very longer time to form. It takes about 18 to like 20 hours for the shell alone because it is very, very hard. So it takes a longer time. And the white formulation takes about 34 hours, and the yolk takes about 1 or 2, and other stuff. So 26 hours a bird should lay an egg. Sometimes it delays depending on how probably you take care of the bird. Birds that are in deep litter. You see, when the bird is in deep litter, as I said last week, deep litter is when you have birds on the ground, walking on wood shavings and all that. A chicken is a chicken. It will have its feeder and definitely go and eat from the ground. So when the bird has to lay in 26 hours and the bird is also eating from the ground, what do you expect? It wouldn't be 26 hours because the formulation will be very, very slow. It will take a longer time for the bird to lay. So that is why most farmers are going into cages right now, because cages, the bird only has access to the feed and the water. The water is the nipple system, only the feed and the water. So when it's 26 hours, it's 26 hours. But for the deep litter, sometimes it lays today, it doesn't lay tomorrow and all that. So basically that's about the eggs.
Yeah. How does feed affect the quality of eggs?
How does feed? Feed is something that is very important. When you don't know how to prepare your own feed, you should think of buying from the already prepared feed companies. So you should do your research well. There are lots of companies. We have Kujis, we have Sankofa, we have Asa, we have Yili. I spoke about that last week. So if you don't do your research well to know the company that you're going to buy from, then you should also do your research well to know how to prepare your own feed. We have lots of components that we use to prepare our feed. We have the maize, we have the soya, we have the wheat bran, we have the rice bran, we have the lysine and the met. Those are amino acids that we add to the feed. So, and dicalcium, we have shells, oyster shells and stuff like that, and we have concentrate. So you should know the concentrate that you're going to use. We have other companies like Champrix, Kujis, we have Jubali, we have Maridaf. There are lots of companies in the system. So you have to sometimes have friends that are farmers, who have been in the system for a very longer time. You ask them what they are going through, like what they're doing. Or someone says, I use Kujis, it's good for me. You will learn a lot from them. And you should take from one person. I'm following this person. So that you wouldn't have to listen to a lot of people. Just take one person, follow what he's doing, and I think it will work out for you for the feed aspect.
Okay. And so aside from feed, I mean, if I'm into egg production, what do I need to know about how long, for instance, egg lasts? For how long can I keep them? I mean, how soon should I sell them?
For egg, I believe or I know that the temperature in the room, that shows how egg is going to take, like how long it's going to take. So when your temperature is hot, sometimes in about 2 or 3 weeks or lesser than that, your eggs will get spoiled. But when the temperature is good, a cool temperature,
after 2 or 3 weeks,
yes, it will get bad. It will get watery before it gets bad and start to smell. So we did an experiment. We kept our eggs in the kitchen where the temperature was very cool. It took about 7 to 8 weeks before it get watery. So when it's hot in that place, it will get spoiled. So that is why most people that sell eggs are complaining that their eggs are getting spoiled, because you see they are in a container. A container also keeps heat inside. So the temperature that destroys the eggs, not just the egg. So the duration of the eggs to get spoiled is probably after 2 weeks. But when you keep it in a bad place, it gets spoiled earlier than that.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So I just also wanted to find out, maybe I missed it if you mentioned it, how many eggs a chicken produces?
One.
Just one?
Just one. But sometimes you might have the situation whereby you have double yolks. Sometimes you can have 3 yolks in one egg. So you can't call that 3 eggs. You can't call that 2 eggs. It is still 1 egg.
Just one?
Yes. But
a day?
Yes. Just 1 a day. As I said, it's 26 hours. So it will lay today, and by the time it lays tomorrow, it will be 26, but it wouldn't be earlier than the previous day. It will be late because it's 26, not 24. So Yeah,
I
basically.
mean, and for anybody who wants to start egg production on a very, I mean, serious scale, how many chickens should the person start with?
Large scale.
Yeah.
It depends.
Or maybe a small scale business. I don't know.
I have a friend.
If it's laying
I have
one
a friend
egg
who I introduced
in
into the
26
business, and he
hours.
started with 4,000 beds. 4,000. He started a new farmer. Started with 4,000 cage system. He didn't go in for deep litter because he knew what he was doing. He knows what he's going to get. You understand? So he just went in big. So if you want to do it right, you can go in for lots of beds, and make sure you have the right consultant. When you have the wrong consultant, it will be a problem for you.
I want to touch next on the health of the birds. Last 2 weeks when we talked about fish, I mean, I discovered so many interesting things about, I mean, health care for fish, and it seems very deliberate to ensure that the fishes are alive, they are healthy. What sort of investment goes into keeping the birds in real good shape?
For chickens, it's a whole lot. The health of the bird is very, very important. It depends on you, the farmer. Hygiene is number one. When you don't keep your farm as clean as, let me say, your room, a bird will fall sick. Your litter, that is the same place the chicken releases its waste and sleeps inside. So you should know that when it's getting bad, you should take it out and bring in a new litter. Your litter shouldn't get wet. Some farmers will just have their drinkers spill litter on the ground and they'll just leave it just like that because they are chickens. A dry litter is different from a wet litter. When the litter is wet and the chicken pecks on it, it's a bad habit. It's going to grow sick, have cocci and stuff like that, diarrhea and all that. So you should know that when your litter is also dirty, that is when the chicken has stuff like lice that gets into them. Lice, it sucks their blood, and also when they're laying, it reduces production. So basically, you have to keep your coop very clean. Hygiene is very, very, very important. When you don't do that, a lot of sickness and a lot of bacterial infection will affect you.
What's the commonest disease? I mean, we've heard of bird flu in times past.
Well, since I started the job, I've not experienced bird flu, but the commonest disease that is affecting farmers is cocci. As I said, that is like basically diarrhea. It's very easy for a chicken to get diarrhea when it's in deep litter because it's definitely going to eat from the ground, as I said. So when it's eating from the ground and the litter is also wet, which is very bad, it will always get diarrhea. And when it gets diarrhea, production is not going to be good for you. But when the litter is dry, it's a different situation altogether. But when it's wet, it's bad. And most things, most situations like vaccination schedules, it can fail when you are vaccinating your birds against bacterial infections like maybe Gumboro, Newcastle. They are very, very, very dangerous. They are viral infections. So when you don't vaccinate them well, you might think you are vaccinating your bird, but you are giving your bird the virus. Example, when you are about to administer a vaccine for a bird, we starve the birds of water so that when you put the vaccines in the water and disperse it among the birds, they should finish drinking the vaccine within 2 hours. After 2 hours, it turns normal water. But some farmers really starve the birds out of water the whole night. When you do that, the bird will be very, 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 very stressed because it's very thirsty. It's stressed already. And when a chicken takes vaccine, it becomes stress. Like when there was corona, some people were complaining when they went for the injection, they were down, they were muddy and moody. Yeah. So that's the same thing that happens to the chicken. So when it's already stressed and it's very thirsty, and you give it the vaccine, it will be so stressed that it might trigger the vaccine to bring in the virus, and that is going to be a very, very chaos situation on your farm. You have the virus, and I don't think you would like to be in the business again.
Okay, but how easily accessible are professionals? I mean, healthcare professionals.
A lot for poultry, a lot, but most of them are in the government section. So it's very hard for you to have a vet visit your farm without you paying. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe you have a viral infection. There are places like Francasen Limited. You can take a bed over there for post-mortem. You wouldn't be charged for free. But there are other places that in Sawom you can take a bed over there. You'll be charged like 50 cedis. But having a vet to come to your farm for a regular check, I think it has to be in a monthly salary schedule. It's between you and the vet until.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. You have been at this for years. What should a poultry farmer do the best to be successful?
First of all, you should learn how to say no to visitors. When I was starting my, someone told me that I shouldn't use my farm as a tourist attraction. You might have some people try to call you to visit your farm. Even when I came here, some people are like, we want to visit your farm, and I said, no, it's not allowed. Some people think I'm rude, but we are trying to prevent our chickens from having infections. Someone might try and visit your farm and wouldn't want to follow the biosecurity measures, because we have some disinfectants that we are going to spray under your leg, on your food, spray around you, and some people don't really like to do that. So we should avoid visitors around. Take biosecurity measures very serious. When I say biosecurity measures, there are infections around, and we have disinfectants that we spray around that takes those things far away from the farm and wouldn't affect the birds. So those disinfectants are very, very expensive sometimes. Some farmers find it very difficult to buy them because you have to be spraying all the time, and it will consume in a shorter period of time. So they don't really buy it. So when you take those things very serious, I think it will help you be successful. And you also have to take your hygiene very serious in the farm. When you don't do all those, the only problem that will make you fail is you having a viral infection. It might take half of your flock or even leave nothing. So,
all right, I want you to draw from your personal experiences. What did you find most challenging starting the poultry farm and keeping it?
My main challenge was, when I started, feeding my birds. We drew budgets on the feeding from chick stage to point of lay. But it got to a time, the prices of the feed was skyrocketing. And my budget is my budget. I didn't have any money left. So the money got consumed, and I started asking a couple of friends, they'll feel at you, they wouldn't try to help. So the only person that helped was my mom. She gave me some money to feed the birds until it started laying, and I paid her back. So my challenge was feeding my birds. And we had some problems with, infection and all that. But as we were growing, we were learning our mistakes, we improved on that. And it brought us here.
All right. Let's talk about innovation. How has poultry farming changed over the years? And how sophisticated has it gotten? Because I remember I visited a poultry farm a couple of years ago. I don't remember which particular year it was, and the technology there was over the top. Yeah, talk to us about how technology is helping boost production.
When we talk about technology, in the ancient times, we used to have chickens around like free range. There was nothing like deep litter, having them in one place, and with later having them in a coop. It was free range, walking everywhere, pecking on grasses, organic farming. But now there's stuff like fully automated cages. You can have about 100,000 of birds in a small space. You wouldn't have to go in and feed the birds. Automatic feeding, automatic drinking, and even picking eggs wouldn't be manual. Automatic, moving of the eggs by a conveyor belt to where you just pick the eggs and pack it up in a tray. So the poultry farm industry is really growing with technology, and it will get to a time I don't think you have a farmer doing deep litter anymore. Yeah, because when you really know what you are doing and you are growing, I think you really have to also know that some people feel like cages are bad. Some people have the perception of cages is not good. Animal welfare, you're caging the bird, 4 birds in a smaller space and all that. I've been getting those kind of messages. But I think sometimes when you think about the bird, when it's on the ground in a deep litter and it pecks on the litter all the time, it gets sick. But when the bird is in a cage, it doesn't get a chance to peck on the litter to get sick. When you're in a cage, using medications are lesser. You don't have higher bacterial infections, so you don't have the time to go and buy medications. But you're on deep litter, because it's pecking on the ground, it's always going to get sick. And you always have to treat it with medications, and I bet it wouldn't be healthy. So I feel sometimes cages are very
How expensive is this technology?
very expensive. If I will remember, my cages for my 4,000 birds was around, with my scrapper, was around 120,000. As at now, we have the cages. We have the A type. A type is like an A shape, and we have the H. So we have 160 capacity, we have 120 capacity, and the 160 goes about almost 5,000 cities right now, and the 120 goes about 3,008. So if you want the 160 capacity and you are doing maybe 10,000 beds, you divide it by 160, you know how many sets you are buying. And with the cages too, the manure drops on the ground. Some people let their workers go under the cage with shovel and wheelbarrow and picking up the manure and all that. Sometimes, so that is very stressful for the workers. It's a whole lot of work, and the ammonia in the poop goes into their eyes. Is very bad. So we have manure scrappers that uses motor to push the manure into maybe a safety tank or a manhole or something, and when it's full, you can have these people come and pull it out, and you pay them. So that's what's
talk to us about market opportunities, because I'm sure many people listening want to know what's in it for me when I venture into poultry farming.
For the marketing aspects, as I said earlier on, for the eggs, I would say, if you're a new poultry farmer and you are investing into a poultry farm, and probably for eggs, you shouldn't worry about who's going to buy your egg. The market for the eggs, it's there, but sometimes you should also think of finding a way to market your business, as we did with ours. We have a platform that we do have, of course, each and every day someone wants to buy egg, but we don't have egg right now. So you should think of how you're going to market your business, so that you have a lot of customers coming to you, so that when you're even growing and having a lot of birds, a lot of chickens, you still have customers to supply for. So I think the market for eggs in Ghana as of now is so huge.
I remember there was a time that poultry farmers were calling for government to stop the imports of birds because they felt they could meet local demand. Is that the reality?
Yeah. Ahead of that, when I started the business, they were stopping the government from importing local foreign chickens, like the cold store stuff. Yeah, I think that is the broiler unit. Yeah, most farmers were telling the government to stop that, but for Ghana, I don't think we can meet the market, because most farmers like to go into the layer than the broiler, because they feel that when they even go in for the broiler, they wouldn't have market for that. Because I have colleagues that did broiler last year Christmas, around November, December, and when it got to January, February, and their stock was still on their farm, and it was very bad. So most farmers don't like to go in for the broiler, because they feel that the government is going to bring chickens into the country. So they don't stress themselves at all.
Does that also cut local poultry farmers from the international market? Sort of like you can only do business locally. Do you have people who are exporting to other countries?
For the broilers?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Wow.
No, I don't think so. Most broiler farmers I know only doing for locally. They don't import, not at all, because the government is actually importing it here, and when you're doing it here, I don't think you can export, because we really consume chicken in Ghana. So
yeah. And so what are the existing gaps? Because I mean, you talk about your friend who has broilers during Christmas stuck at his farm, nowhere to take the broilers. Isn't there policy that can help? For instance, what are the gaps? Maybe supply government agencies instead of
you can have people like Papaya and all that. I had a friend who had a contract with Papaya, and he called me that, let's do maybe 2,000 broilers for Papaya. But the terms and conditions they were telling us, we didn't like it. We are going to use our own money to breed a bird for 6 weeks. The feeding, our own money. they said when they come for the broiler, they are going to pay us 20% of the total price of the chicken, and the rest will be paid in about a month or two, which is not good, because you can't come for the chicken and pay 20% and pay me the rest in 2 months. No, it's not done that way. So
so rather than leave your beds there stuck with no sale, how about value addition? I want us to talk about that because we're going to take a short break. Value addition for poultry products. I mean, what sort of opportunities there are, and some other issues. You're listening to the masterclass here on Joy 99.7 FM. We're taking a short break. We'll be right back.
Your favorite on-air business development program, Joy Business Masterclass, is in session, and you can interact with us on Facebook via the Joy 99.7 FM or Joy Business pages. If you tweet, the handle is at Joy 997 FM or at Joy Business GH. Don't forget to hashtag JB Masterclass. You can also call us on 0302 216541 or send your questions and contributions through to the WhatsApp number 0551 111997, and our facilitators will address your concerns. Attention everyone, class is in progress.
Right, welcome back to the masterclass here on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Daryl Kwawu, in for Yalbana for who. I understand we'll be back next week. Can't wait for him to return. We've missed him, haven't we? We're talking about poultry farming. I'm here with Emmanuel Odame, who is a poultry farmer, farm management and consultancy expert. He's passionate and dedicated a poultry farmer. He's built a thriving career in agriculture, specializing in poultry farming with a keen eye for innovation and a commitment to quality. He's established himself as a leader in the field. His expertise lies in identifying opportunities, development strategies, and driving growth in poultry farming and agricultural experiences. I think we should talk about strategies, development strategies, and driving growth. I think that would be a very important nugget for people who want to venture into poultry farming. But I just remind you that the masterclass is brought to you by Gwell Energy, Gwell NRI India. Good energy brings you Gwell Super XP, the ideal choice for most vehicles. It is flowing wow at many Gwell stations in the country. Just go fuel up your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits. Gwell Super XP is quality and gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Gwell Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine, makes your engine perform to the max using minimal fuel, and it is suitable for most vehicles. As you journey the road, look out for Gwell stations with the Gwell Super XP. Sign and go fuel up your vehicle. Gwell Super XP Ufilia. Ubefile. I hope I got that right. Gwell Good Energy. Yanaya. Okay, so the text line open. Sarah, don't laugh at me. I know my tree is terrible. So, WhatsApp line is 05511119997, 05511119997. If you have any text messages, we could open the phone lines as well. So if you have any questions, ask 0302216541. And so, back to our discussion, man. I was asking about value addition. What can you do with the birds? What can you do with the egg?
So, let me talk about the egg first, because I'm in the egg section. For the egg, there are lots of things you can do with the egg. If you don't want to sell the egg only, the shell of the egg is a source of calcium to prepare feed. Okay. Only if you have a way to sell what is inside. Do you understand?
Explain further.
Yes, the shell is a source of calcium. When you crack the egg and the shell, maybe you mash it up for calcium for preparing feed, you should have a way to sell the egg itself, the yolk or what is inside. You can't just sell the shell and just throw what is inside. So
what do you do with? I mean, give us an idea. I mean, somebody listening wondering, what can I do with what's inside?
You can have a way. You can sell the yolk, maybe pack it up, sell it to caterers or something like that. Some people do that, but not in Ghana. And other stuff that people do. Yeah, I don't want to talk about a whole lot of that. So, and the chicken too. I think there should be factories in Ghana or stuff like that, so that we can process the broiler, we can take the gizzard out, we can take some stuff and do sausages and a whole lot of stuff like that. I don't think the government has stuff like that to help the broiler section farmers. So I think the government should think about doing stuff like that to help the broiler farmers, so that we can add value to the broiler chicken, not just selling the whole chicken. Yeah, we can just sell the gizzard itself, sell other stuff, the thigh and a whole lot of stuff like that. Yeah, not the whole chicken. And maybe you can process it into sausages and stuff like that. Yeah, I think.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. And I also want to draw from your expertise how to stay in the business, because people get into it, they're excited, and now when they are hit with the unexpected, maybe say the chickens fall sick, then they hit a bump and they don't know what to do. What are some of the, I don't know whether to call them survival strategies for poultry farming?
Most poultry farmers create a business and, should I say, leave the country. Most diasporas. So I've had the situations whereby some people call me to go and check up their farm for them, but they are not in Ghana, and the workers are collapsing the business. Just like yesterday, a farmer called me that he had 74 mortalities, and I said, how come? And she says she doesn't know. And I said, you don't know, take the bed for postmortem. So she took the bed, the worker took the bed for postmortem, and they said it's bacterial infection. They prescribed some drugs for the worker, and the worker took the drugs to the farm. So the worker was supposed to administer the drug the next day, and called her boss that he is sick, he can't do it. So unless the boss finds someone else to come and administer the drug. I feel that you shouldn't create a business like a poultry farm and leave it and travel. If you can't be here, don't do it. You have to be here 24/7. You have to manage the farm yourself. I manage the farm myself. I don't do anything. It's my business. It's my investment. You have to be here and take over yourself. You don't have to hand it over to someone and just leave the country and go. Because when you're doing about 4,000 layers, fully cage system, it's close to $100,000. You can't just do that and just leave the country. So most farmers that are absentees farmers fail a lot. It's 100% you're going to fail. Because when they're stealing your eggs, you wouldn't even know. Yes, so you have to be on the side to know what is going on. And for poultry farm, I think that when you want to grow, you shouldn't think about spending your income or your net profit. For instance, what we did was, when we had 500 birds, and we had our previous flock was 3,000. So what we were making a month, we were saving it, and we got a time we use that money to prepare a different coop. So it's like a rollover investment. You roll over until you feel comfortable. Maybe you have 20,000 birds, oh no, you're comfortable with this, you have to enjoy it, and you start chilling your money. You don't have to just start with 1,000 birds and just spending your income. No, I don't think you can grow.
Yeah, but there are some people who maybe are not actually into the farming, but just want to pump money into it, like invest in the poultry farming. What opportunities are there for
if
them?
you don't have time and you want to invest in a poultry farm? I think one, you should try and find a good consultant who you can trust, who will set up the farm for you and manage for you. Or you find a farm which is doing good, invest in that farm, and maybe there might be terms and conditions, paperwork and stuff like that. You know what you're going to gain from your investment. If you think you don't have time, but if you have time, you can set up the farm yourself. But if you don't, as I said, find a consultant. He's going to help you set up your own farm, manage for you, do everything for you to get what you are supposed to get. Or find a farm which is doing good, invest in the farm, paperwork, attorneys are on point, and you know what you're gaining from that. That is fine.
Okay, I'm going to circle back to the health of the birds because, I don't know if you mentioned that chickens are given medications.
Yeah.
And they are vaccinated also. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay, so the vaccination schedules of birds are lots. We have about, I think, 7 or 8. We have gumboro, which is a viral infection that affects the bird. So you have to vaccinate the bird against that. But when you don't do it well, you are giving the bird the virus. So we have gumboro, we have Newcastle, we have fowlpox, like normal chicken pox. Yes, we have fowlpox, and we have debeaking is not a vaccination stuff. We just cut the trim so that it wouldn't drink the egg, or like to fight, so they will pecking each other. So by when you cut the beak, it wouldn't have the chance to do that. So some farmers do not know how to administer vaccines. So when you're administering vaccine, and maybe you have chicks, you have pullets, you have pre-layers, you have layers, you should know the quantity of water you are going to mix with 1,000 dose. 1,000 dose means maybe you have 1,000 birds. When you are going to buy gumboro vaccine, I'm buying 1,000 dose. That means 1,000 birds. When you have chicks, which are maybe 5 days, you should know the quantity of water to mix with the vaccine. You can't mix the same quantity of water when the birds are laying. Whilst they are growing, the quantity of water increases. So you can't mix vaccine with chlorinated water. When you mix vaccine with chlorinated water, you are going to kill the vaccine, and the vaccine wouldn't work. So sometimes what we do is we fetch our water from the borehole, we boil the water at night. We boil it at night and leave it overnight, and the next morning we give the water to the birds after mixing the vaccine with the water. That's what we do, and it's helping us, because apparently when you boil water, it evaporates some of the chlorine from the water, and that helps us. So you should know what you're doing. When you don't vaccinate your birds well, you are giving them the virus. There are situations whereby some farmers will think they are vaccinating their bird, but they're giving the bird the virus because they are not doing it well. And when you don't do it well, you have the outbreak. And when you have the outbreak, you can lose all your birds. Rebecca saw us. Rebecca saw us.
Yeah. And next question, which is much more ideal: preparing your own feed or buying feed?
Preparing your own feed is super good, because as humans, when you're buying food from outside, you don't know what's inside. You don't know how they prepare the feed. You don't know the kind of water they use to prepare the feed. But if you are preparing your own feed at home, you know what you added to the feed. You know how you prepared the feed. That's the same ways it goes for the chicken. When you're preparing your own feed, you know what you put in the feed. But when you're buying already prepared feed, you don't know what they put into the feed. After buying the feed, you will see a sheet in the feed that has the component: lysine, meth, maize, and all that, but you don't know what is inside. They can just write anything for you, but you don't know what's inside. So you should learn how to prepare your own feed, but sometimes it's stressful. You will go and buy the maize, soya, all from different locations to prepare your own feed. But sometimes you can have a commercial feed mill around. For us, we have a commercial feed mill around that is about 10 minutes closer to our farm. You can go there with the formula you have, and they will just prepare the feed for you. They have all that you need. So we just go in with our concentrate, because they don't have our concentrate, and we go with the formula, and they prepare the feed for us. So I think every farmer has to learn how to prepare their own feed, so that you can maximize your production. Because sometimes when the maize price is going high, or commodities are going high, the companies that prepare the feed also try to reduce the quality of the feed to make profit, and you wouldn't know that, and it will reduce your production.
All right, tell us what sort of support poultry farmers need right now. I mean, why poultry farming is important for our economy, and what sort of support the poultry farmers need right now. Because I mean, I do the news always. There's a lot of complaints on poultry farmers. What sort of environment do they need to thrive, and how important is poultry farming for our economy?
I think if the government can't do anything for us, like having a hatchery in Ghana that we are going to produce our own chicks, if they can't do that, they should grow maize for us. Because we have huge lands in Ghana that it's there, it's bare, they're doing nothing. Because as I said, last week when I came here, maize was 320 cedis. Yesterday it's 345 cedis, just 50 kgs. Yes, it's gone up again. Yesterday, so I was so shocked. I'm going to prepare feed, and my budget is up again. it's sad. So I think they should think about maize is nothing. Like maize, common maize, it's nothing.
But I see an opportunity there for anybody who wants to enter into maize
Yes.
farming, because I mean, you guys
Yeah.
need the maize.
I'm going to say this: if there are poultry farmers that are like me in the youth like section, and they are doing good, maybe they have 4,000, 2,000, 3,000 birds that are also maybe buying feed and they're struggling. I need about 20 or 30 people to join me. We can lease a land, a very big land, have an irrigation system, bring money together, grow maize for ourselves, and when we harvest, there will be a paperwork, attorneys and stuff. We know how to share. It's going to help ourselves, or we can sell it or something. Then depending on the government. Right now, maize is too high. I can't do it myself though. So when I have some support from friends, we can come together and do it, and it's going to help ourselves, because maize takes about 60% or 70% of the feed preparation. The rest is normal.
I see good business there. I mean, anybody who that's like
you can just grow maize and just sell to poultry farmers. Yeah,
grow maize, sell to poultry farmers. That should be a very lucrative business, because most of them complain a lot about.
If you want to grow the maize, you shouldn't think about you should think about probably getting drones and stuff to spray the maize. You know, when you have a lot of land, you can have laborers going about spraying the maize to prevent this insects to be destroying the maize. So you should think about drones or something like that to just do its work, spray and all that, and it will make things go.
All right,
well.
we've run out of time, so I'm going to ask you to give us your concluding remarks on all that we have discussed so far. Yes, somebody texting us, that's Nana from Pondasman Estate. How can I find a consultant to set up my farm for me? I need the contact urgently. Any help?
Well, we do that. So I have a team that I've trained in setting up a farm. You know, my masons, my carpenters and stuff like that, they're under me. So I've trained them to do what they're supposed to do. So as I said, I have a farm I'm constructing in Winneba they're dealing with that. So when someone needs,
all right, I think it would be
like
helpful to share your contact at this point.
I did that last week, and
okay,
my MD,
let's do that again.
Yeah, my MD picks up the call, so sometimes it's very hard to get me. So 054 918 6678.
Okay.
054 918 6678.
I hope you're able to get that number on enough from Pong.
054 918
6678.
6678.
So if you are there, you need a consultant to help you set up your farm. I think that Emmanuel will be of help. And so, concluding remarks, Emmanuel, why should anybody want to do poultry farming? Why should they invest their money in it?
I feel it's a great investment. One, and you know, it's fun to have chickens around. When it's fun to have chickens around, you know, when they come as chicks, it's so lovely. The noise they make, how they move about. When they grow and they're laying, it's no fun because they're just laying the eggs for you. Yeah. But when they're chicks, that's the lovely aspect of them. It's lovely, and the profit margin, it's good. It's huge. Example, when you have 4,000 layers, you can be making about 80,000-90,000 cedis a month, and that is a lot. I don't know the kind of investment you can have that. So I think if you are really interested in having an investment in Ghana, you should think about going for a poultry farm investment. That will help.
Says Emmanuel Odame Nyamekye, who is a chief executive and founder of Perfect Among Rest Farms. Join us today and last week for our masterclass on poultry farming. I still don't know which one to venture into, whether to do snails, whether to do fish, whether to do poultry. But the decision is yours. And like Emmanuel was saying, it's very lucrative. You stand to make profit if you do it well. I think that the key thing is about doing it well and paying attention to the birds. If you're able to do that, you're in a good place. And so that's the masterclass. Thanks for listening, everyone. You can always refresh your memory on all the things that we've discussed by going to our Facebook platform. That's Joy 99.7 FM. And you can catch up on all that we've discussed in case you missed it. So that's the masterclass. My name is Daryl Kwawu. It's back to Akofa with more of Ignition. Hey.